gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted tonight to be joined by my colleague Niall O'Connell as we're in preview mode. It's 5v style. It's Hamzah Sheeraz. It's Amo Williams. Now, for me, before we get into things, this fight is probably the closest fight on paper on the card for me. It is a real 50-50. It's a case of we could be looking at the next big middleweight superstar. Now, I know the 160 division isn't exactly packed with talent at the present, but we will get into that. So, Niall, first off, thank you for joining me tonight. We'll go straight into things with this here. This fight, as I've just said, is a 50-50 fight. It's been billed that way, and I think it's correctly been billed that way. Having just said with the 160 division, the world titles and who holds them, which I will go into briefly. Is the winner of this ready for a world title fight?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And before I answer that, I have to agree with what you said there in terms of it's probably the hardest fight to predict on the card. I'm really struggling to call it. I know we'll get to our predictions, but it's a definition of a 50-50. It really is. In terms of is the winner ready for a world title? I absolutely believe so. The only thing you could say is the resumes of both men is lacking so far in terms of kind of standout names. That being said, they're both ranked, I think, pretty highly in a lot of the governing bodies. Hamzah Sheeraz is top five, and I believe the WBC and WBO, if I'm not mistaken. And then Amo Williams is the same with the other two. If I'm not mistaken there. So they are highly ranked with the governing bodies. And also, as you mentioned yourself, it's not a strong division. It's really not. From the days of Golovkin, Canelo, Danny Jacobs, it's really not what it used to be. You still have Charlo and of course Janabek, but outside of that, it's lacking a lot. It really is. So I think the winner of this has one of the, if not the standout name in the 160-pound division, whoever is the winner. And I would kind of give them I'd give them a fair chance in a world title fight, but I absolutely do think they're ready to take that step after this one.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair. You look at both fighters. Hamza Sheeraz, 19-0, 15 KOs. He showed he's got a lot of power. Something that was potentially missing slightly at 154, where he may have been cutting too much weight, and now he's come up, and especially after just blitzing Leon Williams, and the same with Amo Williams. 16-0, 11 KOs. So it's two big punchers. As you said, Niall. Looking at the current list of middleweight world champions, you've got Janibek's got two of the titles. Carlos Adamez got upgraded after Chapao Charlo was stripped. And Erisandi Lara is another of the world champions. Who do you believe would be the best fight for the winner of Amo Williams and Hamza Sheeraz for their first world title fight out of Janibek, Carlos Adamez, and Erisandi Lara?
Well, I'll say Janabek. I don't think anybody at 160 right now beats Janabek. I think I remember myself and yourself doing a video before where we both professed our admiration for him. I just think he's
Right.
he's, he's so well rounded and so powerful. He's the number one for me. So there's no shame in it, but I couldn't see either man beating Janabek now. Lara's an interesting one because Lara, even at this stage of the game, is a handful for anybody. With his craftiness, and he's displaying knockout power now as well to go with his craftiness. So I do think he's a bit of a nightmare for anybody. But that being said, he has seen better days. He's a decent age now, so they could be getting Lara at the right time. But that being said, you'd have to look and say Carlos Adames is the most favourable for either one, the WBC champion. He's still a quality fighter, but Sheeraz and Amo Williams are two quality fighters as well. So if I had to pick who's the most favourable champion, I'd say Carlos Adames. I think that'd be a really intriguing fight between either of them two and Adames. But Lara could be there for the taking as well at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with what you said there. I think Janibek could be the sort of undisputed unification fight, and if I'm either Hamzah Sheeraz or Amo Williams, I'm going straight for Sandy Lara, one of the most inactive world champions I've seen in recent times. I think he's fought 7 times in 7 years, or something ridiculous like that. He come back, like you say, displayed unbelievable knockout power against Michael Zarafa. I know before that he knocked out Spike O'Sullivan, which isn't something necessarily to be shouting from the rooftops about. But then coming back and knocking Zarafa out like that was questionable to say the least. So I think that would definitely be the route to take. Niall, like we say, it was coming, it was expected. For this fight, who wins and how do they win?
Oh God, it's so hard. It's such a 50-50. If I have to stick my neck out and pick someone, I'm going Hamza Sheeraz. I'm a big Hamza Sheeraz fan, and I think what this will come down to is being too big, too strong. I think, but he can box as well as being so kind of powerful. But I think Amo Williams is going to have a lot of success. And I think what this might come down to is Hamza Sheeraz clipping him and putting him down and winning a close decision due to a knockdown. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going Hamza Sheeraz, a very close, maybe a split decision, split majority decision due to a knockdown. Yeah, I think size will be the deciding factor here for me, but Amo Williams could come again, as could Hamza Sheeraz if it goes to Amo Williams. But Sheeraz points for me.
Yeah, unfortunately for the viewers, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. By no means is it a highly confident pick. I just think from what I've seen of Hamza Sheeraz, especially now, he was at 154, which, by the way, I still think is an absolute miracle, considering he should be at light heavyweight. And the fact he was
Yeah,
campaigning down at 154 is incredible because you look at him now, he's going to be sort of 3 or 4 inches taller than
yeah,
Amo Williams on the night, and that's at 160. So it is incredible that he does it, but he looks so much sharper. I know it only lasted sort of a round or so against Leon Williams, but he just looked naturally better, Hamza Sheeraz. So I think now he's at the weight where he can carry his power. He can really feel his punches connect. Um, but like you say, by no means is Amo Williams a mug. I think he's looked in tip-top condition himself at this weight. I think it's a really, really big fight where realistically, if you'd given it 2 years' time, we could have been looking at this as a 160 unification fight.
yeah.
Thankfully, we got it on the 5v5 card. And I just think Hamza Sheeraz, as you say, he should be at light heavyweight. I just think he's going to be too big, too strong. And I do think he will drop Amo Williams, maybe with a body shot along the way. And I think he will see out a points decision. But guys, let us know down below in the comments what you think. Do you think Amo Williams is going to be too good for Sheeraz? Is Sheeraz going to show his knockout power? Can he stop Amo Williams? And can the same said for Amo Williams? Has he got the power to take down the bigger man? Keep an eye out for all our 5v5 content. Plenty of previews coming up, betting tips shows. Keep an eye out, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think below. And Niall, thank you once again for joining me tonight.
Thank you. Take care.